Welcome to another episode of Yoga Biz Champ with myself, Michael J. And today I have a returning guest, the fitness biz website queen herself, host of a newly launched and very good podcast, the Fitness Business Marketing Podcast. It's Connie Holen from Pixality Design. We are going to totally geek out together talking about all the things to refresh your yoga business website before the year end. And we're going to dive into the website trends that are happening for 2024. Enjoy. Welcome to another episode of Yoga Biz Camp, and I've got my good friend, colleague, consultant, and design expert in our fitness world, Connie Holen from Pixality Design. Welcome back, Connie.
Thanks for having me again. So happy to be here.
It's great to have you here. Connie has been on the podcast before, and I'm super happy to have her here because I've also watched your career develop over the last few years, and you really have just done the best job of positioning yourself as top in the fitness marketing and website area. You just are top in that space. I really do think so.
Thank you very much. It just comes from being real specific with the clients I work with and having clients over and over again in that industry.
And so if you're not familiar with Connie, Pixality Web Design, she just really does a great job in the website space. And so her website is really a great resource too, because I send a lot of my studio owners, go read Connie's blog, to go all the way down to the bottom of her page. There are so many tips and resources there on creating a great landing page. And so if they don't have the budget yet to invest in having a designer, I'm just saying, there's so many great resources there. So really great job, Connie.
Thank you. Yeah. And I tell people too, if you go to my portfolio page, you can filter just to yoga studios. You can filter even by the scheduling softwares that you're using if you want to see examples of how other studios are doing it. So just digging around my portfolio page too can give you ideas if you're creating your own website.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations, you just launched your own podcast, and it's called Boutique Fitness Marketing.
I did. I'm following behind in your footsteps.
And I have been listening to it. It's so good. You've had some really good guests on so far. And yesterday I was driving to get my teeth cleaned, and I'm listening to your podcast. And what is it, episode 4, maybe the last one, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
But it's the last one, and it's on branding, and it's a short one. It's 12 minutes, and it's a short one on branding. And you give some really great specific questions for people to answer. And so I was like, it was one of those ones I was listening to it and I'm like, yeah, I've got to go home and write those down. So it was a really good episode. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And that one's episode 6, but it's fun to get into a different medium and just talk with amazing people that I know in this industry. And I've got you on the plan. You don't know it yet, but there's season 2. So
awesome.
we'll get you on over there.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk a little bit today about the year end between now and December and January, a little bit of the website refresh kind of checklist. And so we need to look at all those things as we come to the year end, right? So do you have any top suggestions for your refresh?
Yeah, I think this is just a great time of year as we're recording this in October, but as we're going into November, December, to get all your ducks in a row for that January, because you all know when January hits, you're going to have new students coming in, the energy is going to be high, you're going to be focused on wanting to connect with those new people and communicating, and your sales process is going to be firing and all of that. So you need to do some things right now leading into that, because you're not going to have time to go tweak your website in January. So let's do it now. So that's the whole idea with the energy of this, and closing the year out, especially if things are a little slow now or over the holidays. Take some time to get your website fine-tuned and ready to go for January. The way I would encourage you to do that is block off some time on your calendar. So this is website retuning day or whatever it is. and then open up your website as like a secret shopper. So pretend you don't know your business and just say, I am a new person. It is January. I just decided that I wanted to, be good to my body this year. And I'm thinking yoga might be a place to start. Found this website, and just ask yourself, does it invite me in? Does it welcome me? Does it tell me I'm in the right place? Does it build trust with that client, with that person? And is it clear where they can go to see how it works in their day, see how it works in their budget? How do they get started? Is all of that stuff really obvious and inviting on that website? So if you just give yourself that time and that space in your day, because as business owners, it's hard to probably look at your website all the time, but not from that perspective of taking a step back, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, and taking that fresh perspective of it. And if you do that, I bet you'll see some things that don't make a whole lot of sense or that can be improved.
Yeah, let's stay there. The secret shop, like going through the shoes of the customer. So I have a little story. 20-year-old studio with an amazing history. A history of giving back into the community. It's on its third owner now, and they just did a brand new website. But what they did with the refresh of the website was they lost everything about the community that was built, right? So it was a very generic Squarespace template-y looking site. Anyway, so they lost all the branding basically through that. But the interesting thing was I went through that and I had the owner on the call and I shared my screen. I'm like, can you please show me how to purchase a pass on your website? And so I was doing the clicking, shared my screen, and I'm clicking through it. And I said, okay, can you tell me where the buy button is? Okay, she told me to scroll down. So I go all the way down. There's a schedule button. She's, okay. Where else? She's, okay, well, scroll up, go up to the prices page. I'm like, okay, so go to the prices page. All the prices were listed there, but there was no hot links. So I was like literally clicking on this page saying, where do I click? Show me where to click. There was nowhere to click. 6 months they'd had that website and no online sales. So I think that's a really good, advice is to go through the journey of your students, because are there too many price options? Check their emails when they come. Do they all go off as you want them to? So that's great advice, Connie.
Yeah. And another thing that I'm seeing now when I audit websites or I'm talking to prospects is a lot of people have changed scheduling softwares in the last year. And sometimes you didn't get all those links off your website to the old scheduling software. So buy a gift card here and the gift card goes to a dead link because it's a link from your previous scheduling software. That's pretty critical this time of year to catch that. Yeah. Or you're just going to not capture any of that traffic of people wanting to buy gift cards. So checking for dated things and things that don't work anymore. And you don't need I have a website audit service, and you don't need somebody else to look at those things if you just set aside the time. But those are the things that I find when I do website audits. It just takes a little bit of time to look.
What do you think of the commonly overlooked items on a fitness or yoga website when you see a new client?
I think one of the big things is having a cluttered navigation. As this business owner, you look through the mess up there and you know where to find things because you've put them all there. But I think taking that step back, studio owners fail to realize how overwhelming that is for a new prospect. And if you have 12 different links or a drop down of 20 different items, people are not going to go to those pages. So the few pages that they do go to better get the point across. So I think that's one commonly overlooked thing, is just looking through the clutter and not seeing the important things that have to be very clear for everyone. I think another thing right now, depending on if you did your own website, one of the big things is not having that color contrast between text and whatever the background is.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we
especially
start
if
playing
it's
around,
overlaid a photo or a video.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And Squarespace, which is great, which is what I work on, which is what I recommend to clients. They make it really easy to add really textured backgrounds, photo backgrounds, all of that stuff.
Hero videos or a snap.
Hero videos. Yeah, all that stuff. And that is all very on trend stuff. And that's great. But you need to make sure above all of that aesthetic things that the text pops off the page and that it's crisp enough and big enough that your message gets across, because people won't squint and try to read something that's not really readable. That's something I commonly see, especially on sites that were DIY'd. You need to go find out how to darken that photo up or lighten that photo up, depending on what the text is on the top of it.
That's a great one. I'll say two that I see are common, which I know you're all about, and the not having a really good call to action on the intro offer, and not having a sales page for an intro offer or direct to membership or whatever method it is. But I find it surprises me actually still when I get a new client that those are not just a given now. But I guess that's because I'm in the industry and see it all the time. But it is surprising that a lot of the websites are still 10 years ago and not really keeping up with what's happening now. You did some heat mapping on intro offer buttons on sites.
Yeah. So heat mapping is just another way it's to see the analytics of your site, to see how people are interacting with your website. It's a more visual way. Google Analytics, you can see a lot. A heat map is a visual way to see how people, where they're scrolling, where they're clicking. Few people scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. So if you have that new client page, which is great that you have one, but the first time you introduce that intro offer, or even on your homepage, the first time you introduce that intro offer at the bottom of the page, the vast majority of people are not going to see that at all. Yep. So it needs to be very high up on the page, as well as very clear. And I guess this comes into the bucket of kind of common mistakes, making it very clear that it's a clickable thing. Then the button text itself is very clear and as well. You can see in heat maps a lot of times where if you have a graphic or something that's promoting the intro offer, and maybe that image is clickable, or sometimes the image is not clickable. People will try to click on things that aren't clickable, and they won't necessarily click on something that is clickable if it doesn't look obvious that it is clickable. Yep. So, there's no need to get super creative here. If you want people to click on it, make it a button or get a very bold text link that has a color change or an underline. Make it really obvious, because when you look at those heat maps, you're like, why are they clicking right there on that picture? Because you're mentioning something, they figure that will go there, and it doesn't necessarily. Yeah. So those are some of the things we can learn from heat maps is move that intro offer call to action, be very clear what it is up further on the page, and then make it obvious that it's clickable. Buttons are the easy way to do that.
Yeah. So I feel like you've taught the industry that it should be top right.
I believe so.
I like top. That definitely comes from you. And then I like an extra hit under or within the hero kind of area, like just a second. And then I'll also on the landing page, like under a schedule, like to have another hit of it, or under a visual schedule, I like to have another hit of that. But yeah, it doesn't harm to have quite a few of those buttons around.
And on that new client page, that get started page, whatever you're calling it, it is the point of that page. So it should be free, several times on that page. And then any text, images, videos that are on that page should have the goal of just selling that intro offer. You're not selling them on a membership. You're not selling them on a lifetime commitment. Yeah, you're just selling them on the idea of giving it a try.
I literally have an email behind you right now from one of my studios that we're looking at we're going over her sales page right now. But it is what I said when I looked at hers was there was too many off links. It was going to the schedule. It was going all over the place, right? And really that page, you want to keep them on that page, but you want to deliver them what they need to know. The schedule, maybe a little bit about the teacher, some testimonials, and what they get for their investment, and then buy. And
everything related to having the lens of a beginner. So the testimonial should be talking about, I was hesitant to try it. I didn't think I was flexible enough, whatever. Go cherry pick those testimonials out that really talk about concerns that beginners have. And same goes with any videos, any photos that you have on that page. You're not going to be showing the most advanced poses. You want that page to feel really inviting and accessible.
Absolutely. Checklist item, mobile friendly. And I think Squarespace does a fantastic job of that. If anybody hasn't used Squarespace, you can just literally click to see the mobile view. But you can rearrange that mobile view and it doesn't affect the web version, which is incredible.
Yeah, and that's with Squarespace 7.1, which is the latest version. It came out around 2020. So if you have a site older than that, you're probably on the older version and you don't have those fine-tuning controls on mobile. The trick is, if you are on the newer version of Squarespace, you do have to look at that and you do have to fine-tune it. You can't just ignore it. Otherwise, that mobile view is going to show items in the order that you added them on the page. You can rearrange them. You can make the buttons bigger. You can fine tune it, but you do have to take that extra step. It's a great feature, but I do see that on a lot of sites too, where they clearly didn't look at it on mobile and didn't adjust things. And so things are overlapping weirdly and in a weird order. So yeah, if you're on Squarespace 7.1, be sure to click that little mobile preview, move things around, put them in a different order. The other thing about checking things on mobile that I would love people to do is check on your actual phone, not in the editing mode of whatever platform you're in. Check that if you have a Messenger AI or some kind of chat bot, if you've got a pop-up, if you have a cookie banner, all of those things, check that they're not conflicting with each other. Get in that situation where you don't see it when you're in editing mode popping up, but you get to the point where you can't close something because something else is overlapping it and it gets really clunky on mobile. So that's another great thing to do before you get into the busy season. Just check those things and deconflict if you need to.
Yeah. Oh, you forget.
Or you have an old pop-up promoting something old.
Yeah, that's quite common, actually. I've seen that a few times.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts of year-end checklist items for a website?
Yeah, I would say if you're looking, the one good thing of doing this now is if your website really does need some work, you can probably get on someone's schedule and get it launched before the new year. You don't want to be doing a website redesign in January.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would look at is if you're not going to do that and you're not doing a whole website refresh, maybe you don't need it. Other than the things that we just talked about, be comfortable with eliminating things, simplifying things, getting rid of things, moving things to the footer. Go in with the lens of I'm going to edit and I'm going to simplify because that's going to give you the better results. And then the second thing is if you're looking at your whole website and you're like, things are just not feeling right. They're not necessarily reflecting my brand in a great way, but I don't have time or budget to redo the whole thing. Put a little bit of effort into that hero banner. What's the image there? What's the headline there? What's the button like we talked about? What's the call to action intro offer there?
Yeah.
Like I said, with those heat maps and those Google Analytics, like if you don't sell them on that very first top thing when they load the page, they're not going to click around to the other pages. Spend a little bit of time, maybe refresh that area itself. Don't feel like you have to go through your whole site if you don't have the resources to do that, but a little bit of retooling that headline, refreshing that photo or that video if you've got it, and making sure that button is really clear can go a long way to help you out.
Yeah. Can we talk about that? Because that hero section, I think I did a post about this on Instagram not long ago, a frustrated post about don't make me search for where your location is. It blows my mind that I have to go through your website and search for your location. I have my studios on that hero section. We just did one in Fresno and it says, "Hey Fresno!" ! Like literally, get your location, even if it is just a small area of your city that you're focused on.
It's so important, especially now we can all list all the virtual yoga studios out there, all the video only yoga platforms. And you can't be sure that there's not one of those that doesn't have your same business name or very similar business name if someone's searching for it. So one of the key things that website has to do right when you initially land on it is instill trust in people that they are in the right place. And that means two-pronged. It means very literally, am I in the right place? Is this the studio in my town that I can go physically to? And that's what you're talking about. And then the second thing is, am I in the right place? Do I trust this studio? Do they say that they can solve the problems that I have?
Can I see myself there?
Can I see myself there? Exactly. Would I fit in there? Would I be welcomed there? So you've got to do those things. You have to answer that, am I in the right place question in both of those ways on that initial hero section when you load the website.
Yeah, I think you've got to show the vibe right away. I feel that's the thing that I try and get my studios. I want them to show like the happy people coming out of the studio holding their yoga mats. It's the feeling that you want people to leave with, but you have to get that across in the website as well.
Yeah. And what you just said with the happy people and the smiling, when I've tested different images on different social media ad campaigns, 9 times out of 10, the one that does the best has somebody smiling. There's just some sort of reaction we all naturally have as human beings of feeling positive and like we're in the right place when we see somebody else smiling. So that's a really powerful thing. And I think to your point of getting that vibe across, back up our secret shopper scenario and say, it's January, I have a New Year's resolution. I go to Google first and I type in yoga studio near me, open up those tabs of everything that pops up, including your studio. Now, at first glance, how does your vibe come across as different or better than those other competitors? Because that's the context they're going to be viewed in. You're going to pick, we all know that's how we shop for things, right? We maybe open up a couple links and then we're like, okay, I feel like this website gets it. And then you're going to go deeper into that one. And that's going to be your first option. So yeah, back it up and see how your vibe compares with the other fitness options that they would have in that same area. If they were looking at, maybe I try yoga or bar or whatever, they might not be just other yoga studios, but start on Google, see where you fit in that context.
Yeah. I'm also seeing a lot of people, the buy button quite often goes too soon to the software. So, for example, I'm in LA right now, and there's actually a well-known coach, and I was looking at one of the things that they had going on this week, but it took me straight into the mind body page, the general mind body awful page that doesn't, and I literally went, ugh, I can't be bothered. And closed it. And so it was something I was interested in, but I need more information about the event before I'm in the software.
Yeah, they're just skipping the whole sales conversation. If you translate that to a real life conversation, if someone walked in and they're like, yeah, I'm interested in this event, or I'm interested in getting started. And then you're like, okay, hand me your credit card. That's basically the equivalent of that. Yeah. You're skipping that whole conversation. You decide if this is a great fit for you. We're really excited about it because of this. Other people like you have also done it and they've gotten these kind of results. Like that whole sales conversation is completely skipped if you introduce the thing and then you send them right to the checkout. And that's where that new client page for the new client conversation really is necessary. You're having that sales conversation online. But I think to your point, it makes total sense for workshops, for any other things that
should
you're
have gone to an
sell.
events page on the website, right? That should have given
me
all the details.
With some more details.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in the scheduling softwares. There's not enough space to do that. No. The scheduling softwares are the checkout experience. They're not the whole sales conversation. So maybe have an events page, have a sales page for your teacher training, all of that.
Yeah. One of the things I remember, you did a post, and you probably do this at year end, but I remember you saying, always remember to go to your website and change the copyright date.
Yeah, that's usually a January thing. And some people are looking at their websites right now and they're like, oh, it says copyright 2018. Oops. That is a clear, this website isn't necessarily updated very often kind of indicator. Not like everyone goes down and looks at that. But if I see a website that says in the footer, copyright 2017, I'm like, I don't know how much I can trust this, right?
So Connie, we're heading to the end of the year. Got any trend alerts for websites or marketing heading into 2024?
Oh, I got all kinds of.
Oh, good. Please go.
Yeah.
What's happening?
No. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like video backgrounds, and that's not something new. That's been big for a while. But I think in this industry, it really does show that vibe very quickly to have a under 30-second video background that shows smiling people, that shows how clean your space is, all of that. I think we're going to continue to see that. Also along those notes, we've got the video backgrounds in the big banner, but we also see things like high quality GIFs or little slideshows automatically moving, this kind of micro animations throughout the site, some more movement. that comes in those little kind of micro animations. Maybe it's a little video that's like playing a little loop of a preview as the thumbnail. You also see this extended that's more and more into like micro interactions that have movement. So getting people engaged in the website a little bit more. A common one there would be hover effects on buttons, where the button changes colors. It does something when you hover over it, hovering over images and it changes to another image, that kind of thing. So seeing a lot more of that in the industry as general, and that's starting to trickle into fitness website design specifically, just making it a little more, you have to be careful not to just make movement for movement. That gets overwhelming.
But it's just subtle animated things. It just adds a little dynamics to the site.
Yep, definitely. So just intentional. You want to use that movement intentionally where you want people to focus their attention. But it keeps people interested, and then it draws attention to the things that you want them to draw attention to. So micro animations, micro interactions are definitely, I think, on the trend list for 2024.
What's the difference? The difference is the rollover?
Yes. So the micro animations would be just things that happen without you doing anything. It's just happening on the moving on the site. Micro interactions are with like a hover where you actually move, or like scroll effects too. So you've seen those sites where you scroll down the page and things fly in, but if you scroll back up the page, they fly out. So they are linked to the action that you as the visitor is doing. So either way, they're real similar, but I think that's going to continue to be common. I think, let's see, AI is coming to websites. You'll see even on Squarespace in the back end, there's now a writing assistant that's plugged in.
Okay.
It's just becoming more and more incorporated. That's more of as a back end as you as the website builder, studio owner, not so much from the outside, but you're going to see that incorporating more and more into the back end editors. Also, I think chatbots, as much as I don't really love chatbots a whole lot, I think they're going to probably continue to get better. I don't know if that's a 2024 thing or or after, but I don't think they're going away. I think they'll probably continue to get better as AI gets better as well.
Are you using any? Kind of on I know that the Mind Body AI works really well. Are you seeing any others work on the chatbot?
I haven't. That's the most common one that I'm seeing. Yeah, I just hesitate on chatbots, especially
because if you're not there to answer. Yeah.
And I think it is confusing for people who might be hesitant already. You have to know your audience and the people you're bringing to your website. Chatbots can make you feel dumb as a user if you don't know that there's not a real person there, and when you figure it out. So I think you have to be careful about that as well. And I think as they get better though, and if there's somebody on the other end, I think we'll see more and more of them. I don't think they're for everybody, but.
I got one for you. Leads. Leads is becoming a big deal now with the software companies, Moments, MindBody, Walla. Definitely seeing that lead forms is becoming a bit of a bigger deal that integrates in with the fitness booking software. The more CRM.
Yeah, and it's the fact that, like you said, that those scheduling softwares are now making those forms embeddable, and they're making it as a part of those CRMs that now, as they're adding in marketing tools, texting and emails as well. It really is just the next iteration of your constant contact, sign up for our newsletter form, but now we can do a lot more with, it really is the same for your newsletter subscriber for a lead. It's the same thing. You've only given your email address. It's what you do with it as a business owner that is changing in the industry.
Well, I think the difference is it used to go to a constant contact or something like that, but now it's different. It's going directly into your fitness booking software.
Because you don't need the constant contact anymore. Your fitness booking software is now your marketing tool as well. So that's a great point. I think where websites are going is, what's your strategy behind that? Getting that lead? How are you following up with them? Is it just, I never was a big fan of people just slapping like an email subscribe form on your website when it just goes into your bulk contacts list and they just start getting your newsletter. Like, it's not that person, it's a long way before they are ever going to actually pay you money and become a client. If that's the only action they're doing, it's signing up for your newsletters. This, I think, opens up now the conversation of, okay, what is even on our website where we are asking for that? Is it sign up for our newsletter, or is it sign up to be entered into a draw? We give a free month of yoga away every month. So sign up to be entered into that. And now you have the contact information. Yeah. So what are you doing with it? Otherwise, it's valuable. It's a valuable spot on your real estate on your website. So you need to have some type of plan for it. But I think now that it is incorporated, those forms are incorporated with booking softwares, you have more you can do with it.
It's like, how do you convert that person through that? So Connie, I want to end it here, but I want to tell everybody that you are the best. And the reason I think that you're the best is when I send my clients to you, the process is so easy. Like you just have got that process so down. And I also like the fact that you go down to mission, vision, values in the beginning, right? And I think that's such an important, I start everywhere with that. But the process that you make, I think people get overloaded with the process of a new website. And I want to tell people Connie makes it super easy because she has this form. I've seen my clients fill it in, but it is like you literally just fill in this form. She asks you all the questions that you need to know. And then it's, hey, here's your Google Drive box, load all your images into here. And you just make it super easy. And if anybody's thinking about a brand new website or a refresh, you are the go-to person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that comes from, this is my full-time job. This is what I do. And I work almost exclusively with boutique fitness studio owners. A good amount of them are yoga studio owners. So there's a little bit of layered in consulting with the project. And if you go to another web design agency, which there are great designers out there, you as the business owner need to be very clear about what you want, where you want it, because they're not going to be able to advise you on best practices for this industry and how it works for boutique fitness. So I think that's where, thank you for the shout out, but I think that's where I really do bring value to clients and love working with yoga studio owners. You have great clients. So.
Yeah, and I want to encourage everybody to go and listen to your podcast, and that is Boutique Fitness Marketing, and that will be linked up in my show notes as well. And so how does everybody find you or book a meeting with you? Or I know you have different packages, like you'll do an assessment of a website. So can you go over what you offer?
Yeah, you can find all of that at pixalitydesign.com, and that's Pixality design.com. You'll see up at the top, the web design. If you know you need a new website, you can go click there and see my web design packages. I've got 3 different kind of sizes there. I know you work a lot with studios too that are just getting started. I do have a specific package that is, I'm with you for that whole launch phase and the different phases of your site. So that's one option as you're growing, and there's a lot of different iterations of launching your website. There's one that is the most popular, that's a up to 10-page website package that fits most studios. If you have a really multiple locations, a lot of content already, a big blog, a lot of events, that type of stuff, I do have a larger package as well. So that's under the web design tab. And then there's also a consulting tab where if you want to just book a one-off call with me, we can take a look at your website, give you feedback. If you have a web designer you're already working with, or if you are doing it yourself, just a one-off call is definitely an option. And then I have a website audit package too, if you want that feedback in a more documented form that you could send off to somebody else as well. So pixalitydesign.com. I'm also real active on Instagram at Pixality Design there. Lots of little short reels, video tips.
You are really active on there. You up-leveled in the last couple of years on there.
It's been fun. I have a person that helps.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have another podcast episode about that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I find that it's just those short videos, easy to consume, get a little tip and move on with your day is fun. And it's the way I like producing content.
You say that probably wasn't easy at first, right? When you started doing your posts, it wasn't easy, right? And now it feels easy. I'm guessing.
Right. I have a total flow every other week. Yeah. I batch record. Yeah, this could be a totally other episode, but you get it. You get in the whole kind of systems flow of what you're doing and when you're doing it. And yeah. So that's the 2 spots where you can most find me. And then boutiquefitnessmarketing.com is the home for my podcast. It's also on my actual website, or you could just Google Boutique Fitness Marketing and you should find it on all the places you listen to podcasts. So I'd love to have you over there.
Yay. Thank you so much, Connie. I'm sure you'll be on again.
All right. Thank you, Michael. It's great talking with you.
Thank you. If you are getting any value out of this podcast, I really ask you to help me out, and that's a simple thing as making sure you're subscribed, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Just make sure you're subscribed to me so you'll get the latest episodes. And if you're really enjoying it, please take a moment to rate and review. If you are looking to work with a business coach, thinking about opening a yoga studio, please go to my website, yogabizchamp.com. Feel free to book a no obligation free strategy session with me. Again, that's yogabizchamp.com, and follow me on Instagram at Yoga Biz Champ. See you next episode.